Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today is a little different. We're going to try and do this every week if we can. We figure we talk about football a lot, so we're going to do a little bit of a football show. All we really do is like recap the games from the week, and we'll give our predictions and things like that. We'll just talk about some of the things that are going on around the NFL. And this is a long one, so first part's pretty long, and then there's another hour afterwards. I'll give you both parts today, and I think we're going to probably next week, we'll probably only do like an hour of it, and we'll still give you the regular podcast. So, here we go.
Don't give him clear shot! Don't give him clear shot! Don't give him clear shot! Don't give him clear shot!
Yeah, so we're doing a new sort of thing today. It's something Seth and I have been talking about for a little bit of a while now here. We've been talking about doing... We've noticed that in a lot of our podcasts, we go off in tangents about
We talk
football.
about a lot of football.
We talk about a lot of football. Especially, we noticed it especially when we had Kevin on the other day. I think legitimately... Well, plus we were watching the Browns game, but we legitimately talked about football
Yeah, that
for
was
like
a
the
mistake.
first...
We should have left the Jets game off of the TV.
We talked about football for like the first 45 minutes. So we figured to keep the people that don't listen to us less annoyed about our tangents about the NFL. We figured we'd have our own dedicated show. We'd still probably talk about it or mention it every now and then, but we definitely won't be going into 45-minute long discussions about it in the middle of a conversation.
I mean, yeah, depending on our guest, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like if we have Kevin or Bill, or if Jesse
like
ever decides to be on,
Yeah.
if Jesse ever doesn't not have a
If
fever.
he's ever not sick.
Yeah. He's always sick, apparently. Fucker. It's
Evidently.
okay. If you're listening, Jesse, get well soon. I'll see you at the bar tonight. So, first things first, we're going to do a week 3 recap.
Yeah. I guess we'll recap and then...
Go into our little debates, discussions
Right.
here on out.
Then maybe do some predictions or whatever.
Predictions, some fantasy updates, cinema stardoms, you know.
And then we'll tell you who's going to win, and we're going to be 100% right pretty much every single week. So
Yeah, I mean, we always are, so.
I mean, we haven't been wrong about anything else, so.
We really haven't been when you think about it. I knew the Cowboys would be 1-2 at this point. I totally wasn't confident in them at all.
Yeah, they didn't.
And I knew Miami would be 3-0. Nobody listens to me.
So you want to start from the top? Top Gun from the top.
Top from the top. So the Jets-Browns game, this one's the only game I actually watched start to finish. We watched this when Kevin was on the other day.
Yeah.
It was a good game. The Browns, the one thing I'll take away from this is Baker Mayfield is decent. I think he's going to be really good. You can tell the entire mood of the Browns changed as soon as he came out on the field. It was like they were a completely new team.
Maybe I can play some highlights here. Is that possible? Find out. Oh, yeah. A commercial. Sick. We're going to use the NFL app as our companion for this.
Word. Yeah, we're not doing a video today because it'd be pretty distracting. We're going to have different slides and stuff like that going along. So if you're watching on YouTube at all, which is probably only like 4 or 5 of you. But,
yeah. I'm going to show like some of the scores. I might just put up a chart of like all the scores.
Yeah.
And then our predictions or whatever afterwards.
Word. Yeah, sounds good. I don't really remember any. I do remember Isaiah Crowell with that celebration where he wiped his ass with the ball and then threw it in the stands.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was pretty good. That was a good time.
This game I didn't get to watch much of because my back was to it.
Yeah,
and we were all talking. But if you watch the last episode, you can hear certain sections of the game.
It's mostly Kevin and I gushing about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
how handsome he is.
Yeah.
Because he's a very handsome boy.
Yeah, Cleveland's one of the 4 teams right now with a tie.
Yeah, I remember that somebody posted a thing on Reddit last Wednesday. They're like, if Cleveland who was it? If Cleveland wins and if Green Bay wins, what was it? If Cleveland and Pittsburgh win and then Green Bay and Minnesota lose, it'd be the first time that 4 teams were 1-1-1. And everybody was like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And then it does.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, what the fuck's going on with this goddamn season, dude? It's already insane.
Well,
you have the Cowboys, who everybody thought their defense was going to be absolutely awful. And their defense is stout and their offense is awful.
Well, I think there's a lot, like, I feel like the rule debates are, like, big right now.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's a part of it.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. With week 3, you never really know. It's like,
Yeah,
even
really,
New England, like, starts slow usually, and then
I'd say the first 4 or 5 games are really a preseason.
a lot of times it's the team that starts strong that does jack shit, like, later on in the season. So, Kansas City, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, if we're gonna do quick bit by bit, man, Kansas City, they look really good.
As long as
Patrick Mahomes looks really good.
I think as long as they stay healthy, they'll be all right, but
Yeah,
it's hard to do that.
Cincinnati looks decent. Carolina looks all right. Baltimore. There's a lot of teams, like you said, week 3, it doesn't really matter too much. You can't look too much into it. But I'd say a lot of the teams that I was expecting to be good are 1-2 or 0-3. A lot of teams that I wasn't expecting to do jack shit, like Miami, are 3-0.
Yeah.
But yeah, biggest takeaway from the Jets-Browns game, the Browns defense is great. Baker Mayfield's going to be starting, and he looks already ready to do it. And Sam Darnold, he didn't have the best game, but he still looked decent, you know. Isaiah Crowell, honestly, I think is a real deal at running back, though. I think it's his 3rd straight game with a touchdown.
He's always pretty solid.
And he's averaging like 80 or 90 yards a game.
He's like one of those guys that's like dependable. I feel like he's like a dude that's not going to like put up crazy numbers. But he's a guy who's going to still like fucking pound the fucking...
He kind of reminds me of, you definitely remember him from Pittsburgh, Rashad Mendenhall. How he was like a solid 4.0 yard per carry kind of guy, but he wasn't too flashy. Or like Tatum Bell, remember him from Denver?
Yep.
I think Isaiah Crowell is like right outside the top 10 for running backs, but I feel like
they're guys that aren't gonna they don't last long in the league. They're guys that go right up the A gap and just fucking lower their head.
Yeah,
just try and get lower than the fucking linebackers.
Yeah, and it's crazy because a lot of people think too, like a lot of people think of Marshawn Lynch as like a power guy, but he's really. He makes a quick move, and then he's just hard to take down.
He's just a one cut back, but but he's just like. Yeah, like you said, he's very evasive, and he's able to break tackles.
Yeah, that's another guy that I wasn't expecting. You know, Marshawn Lynch is, 33 years old? He's still kicking ass. Adrian Peterson's still doing really well. Yeah,
Peterson looked good.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to get at is the next game we're going to talk about is the Saints-Falcons. And I'm really surprised that the Saints are doing this well without Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram, he's really their ground and pound guy when you have Kamara as like the scat, kind of Darren Sproles, sort of kind of player. And this game was a shootout. I watched quite a bit of this, and then I watched the final few minutes, and then overtime.
10 touchdowns between both quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, I had Drew Brees on my fantasy team, so I was definitely watching this. And I don't like the Falcons, so I was definitely loving it the whole time. The problem I'm going to have with it is the Falcons, their defense is like dead. They lost Ricardo Lewis, their safety. I'm pretty sure they lost Deion Jones. They lost really like 3 of their top 5 starters on defense. And, I don't think Matt Ryan and the offense are going to be able to just take over. And I think they lost Devontae Freeman for a while too. That whole division is always
5
weird.
touchdowns.
Yeah, look at that. Matt Ryan, 374, 5 touchdowns. I don't think either of them threw a pick, did they?
No.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing, too. And Drew Brees, 396 yards, 3 touchdowns. Neither of them threw a pick.
Right. I mean, Calvin Ridley, 3 touchdowns.
He's going to be the real deal. He is really good.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, if you get looks in the red zone, like, your fantasy value goes up, number one. And And number 2, I mean, at least with Drew Brees, obviously he spreads the ball around more.
Oh my God, yeah. How many guys did he complete a pass to? You got Thomas, Kamara, Watson, Carr, Hill, Ginn, Meredith, Line, and Williams.
Yeah.
So that's nine guys?
Yeah. But Brees is just, I mean, he's Drew Brees.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's a guy, it's so weird because Drew Brees, I feel, is always underappreciated for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like people know how good he is and they, like, acknowledge that he's good, but no one ever talks about him, it seems like.
Drew Brees is my favorite quarterback in the league.
It seems like Brady and Rodgers are, like, the two that everybody talks about, and then because the Saints are, like, kind of under the radar all the time.
Yeah. I think it's partly, too, is that Brady is Brady.
Right.
And he plays for New England, and they've been good for the past 20 years. Then Rodgers plays for basically the most historic franchise of all time. Yeah,
but if you think about it, the Saints and the Packers both have won the Super Bowl recently.
Yeah, but
within the last
Rodgers
10
has,
years.
3 MVPs? 2?
Yeah.
Breeze doesn't have any.
But it's like, if you look at consistency.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Oh, text message.
I think he's the only quarterback out there that has more than one 5,000-yard passing season.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
And
he's
safe with the ball, too. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
He actually just broke the record for most completions ever. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah, he's almost on his way to 7,000. Nobody else besides Brett Favre has more than 6,000. Maybe Peyton Manning. I can't remember. We'll look that up later.
So they're 2-1 now. The Saints are, and
yeah,
I feel like they, like I said, they're always under the radar, and they only come out, like, they fly under the radar until like week 8, and then they either decide to be good or bad.
Yeah, that's really too. And like last year, if it wasn't for the Minneapolis Miracle, I think they would have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think they were better than the Eagles.
Yeah,
for sure. Drew Brees is better than Case Keenum. For sure, Drew Brees is better than Nick Foles. I mean, really, when you get to the playoffs, it comes down to either is your defense better than the quarterback you're playing against?
Yeah.
Yes. Then you're
here's the
probably
thing.
gonna win.
Yeah. And it's different in football because it's one fucking game and you're out.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you're going to rely on a quarterback for one game, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody, but really besides Rodgers and Brady. But even then, I would take Brees sometimes.
I feel like it gets weird. It's like, in basketball or baseball, you got chances to redeem yourself if you lose.
Yeah, that's why in basketball, you'll never see an 8 seed win a title because not very often is an 8 seed going to take the best of 7 from the 1 seed, then the best of 7 from the next, and then the best of 7 from the next.
Right.
All the way through. That's why football is it's just better, man. We talk about it all the time. It's just fucking better.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of. I mean, yeah, the fact that the games matter so much is what's...
Yeah, each weekend is an event.
Right.
And it's all leading up. It's 17 weeks, 16 games.
Yeah, most of it happens in one day. You can watch fucking all the games pretty much at once. Yeah.
And then the best is just the hype from Tuesday, Wednesday, because you have the Monday night game, and then you have Tuesday, Wednesday hype, and then you have Thursday game. You know?
Yeah, I feel like with I don't like the Thursday games. I feel like I talked about this already.
Yeah,
I kind of don't like the Thursday
games. Pretty much a
games.
shit show.
I don't know. It's so weird. Number one, it's weird that they don't have time to recover from their. Say they play. Even if you play, I mean, they probably try and avoid it. I don't know if they do that, but I imagine teams don't play Monday and then Thursday.
No, I don't.
I imagine but even with Sunday and then Thursday, you only get a couple days of rest, and if you're traveling, you're fucked. And it's so weird the way they broadcast it because now they have it on NFL Network, they have it on Fox and Amazon Prime, like streaming or whatever. So that deal is fucking weird as fuck. Because like, why would you sign that shit? Because you know, like, you don't know where people are gonna watch from, and I don't know that the ratings go to all those companies.
As far as I know, ratings for the NFL don't count when it's streaming. Which is why people go, oh, well, the NFL ratings are down, when really they're better than ever. But the Nielsen, whatever, and the NFL, the NFL only counts Nielsen ratings towards their rating system.
Yeah.
You know, they don't count people with Game Pass or Red Zone or people that watch at bars and stuff like that.
Right. That's
but
true.
the NBA does, and the NBA still isn't even close.
Huh. Yeah.
You know it's bad when more people watch the NFL draft than people that watch the NBA finals. Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know why people watch the draft in the first place. Watch the first round.
I watched the first round.
Watch the first round, maybe the second round. I only care about our picks. Like, that's all I really care about. The rest of the shit, like, I like, okay, maybe the first 5-10 overall.
Yeah.
That's all that matters to me.
My dad and I, we get beer, we get pizza and wings, and we watch the first round. And it's awesome. We've been doing that ever since, like, we've been doing it for like 2 years now.
Yeah. There's just a lot of downtime in the draft. It's like, oh, these guys are on the clock. Here's fucking 7 minutes of nothing. Like, let's talk about who they might pick.
Yeah, it's
and
mostly
then they
speculation.
Then they pick not that person.
Yeah.
They show highlights of some dude from fucking Alabama that they're not going to pick. Shit happens all the fucking time.
Yeah. So what's the next game? What? Yeah, let's just get to the next one.
Broncos-Ravens.
Broncos-Ravens.
27-14 final.
See, I didn't watch any of this one. I have no idea what happened.
The Ravens are a fucking weird team.
Yeah. They're like the anti-Saints. Mm-hmm. They're always at least 9-7. You know what I mean? The Saints are always at least 7-9 or 6-10. The Ravens are always 9-7.
It says Baltimore's 12 for 12 in the red zone this season.
Really?
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. That probably includes field goals, though, right? So you got Justin
probably,
Tucker.
Yeah. Justin Tucker's a solid fucking kicker. He's one of those guys that like doesn't miss a lot. Mason Crosby doesn't miss a lot. There's a couple guys that just don't miss.
Robbie Gould, did you see about his stat?
Yeah,
the Bears cut him 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and ever since then he's only missed one field goal.
Yeah.
They missed him they cut him from missing like 3 in a row. And then he went to the San Francisco 49ers, and he's been 54 of 55.
I don't know that missing 3 in a row is enough to cut somebody.
No.
I really don't.
Especially when you're the Bears and you've had him on your team since he was like 21.
Case Keenum looked real good. 192 yards and an interception. No touchdowns.
See, but that's the thing is that with the Broncos, that's really all you need. Their defense is still pretty good.
Yeah.
They just happen to run into the Ravens, who I really think they're one of my dark horse picks. I think they're the best team in their division.
Flacco's not consistent at all, though. It seems like he has a good game, like he has a really good game, or he just is fucking pedestrian as fuck. Like it's not anything. He's not anything special. It seems like
he's kind of like Eli. I think he's almost exactly like Eli.
Yeah, they're that same tier for sure.
Yeah.
They have like just these games where they go off and they look like a fucking elite quarterback, and then all of a sudden the next week they're like half asleep.
Joe Flacco's entire legacy is built onto that Super Bowl run, which in my opinion is the greatest run by a quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Where he had, I think, 10 touchdowns, 0 picks, and like a 140-something passer rating.
Yeah, he was definitely solid. I mean, it's like I said, he can play well. It's just, I don't know, he's not consistent for some reason.
Dude, the motherfucker eats McDonald's and smokes cigarettes and drinks beer all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like Jay Cutler with a ring.
Yeah.
So, the Ravens, I have Alex Collins on my team. I still didn't watch much of it. I know their defense is pretty good. I know Brandon Carr is like the number 3 rated cornerback or number 2 rated cornerback in the league right now.
Who's that?
Brandon Carr.
Yeah, Brandon Carr.
The Cowboys cut him last year, so obviously he's good now.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's the best career path, I think.
Is to get cut by Dallas.
Go to Dallas and get cut, and then you'll be good.
Yep. Or if you're good and then get cut by Dallas, you're awful.
Yeah.
Like fucking DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think the Ravens... Yeah, the Ravens are decent. The Broncos...
I like the Ravens. I'm not going to like the Ravens deeper into the season, though, I don't think.
No.
I don't think they're going to stay with it.
I think between the two of them, the Broncos definitely have the better staying power because their defense is younger. They've been together longer.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens, your leading pass rusher is Terrell Suggs. And
I don't know that either team's
contender.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick one of them to make the playoffs, I'd have to go with the Broncos. Their division's the easiest.
It's weird because these are both teams that have had like veterans recently, and they kind of lost like.
And they both won Super Bowls recently too.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. They kind of fell off cliffs. Yeah. So now it's like a matter of if they can grab onto that cliff and fucking climb back up it.
That's the thing too, is that with the Ravens, their team hasn't changed much.
No, not really. But when you lose veteran guys, that's kind of what
you
happens.
kind of lose the glue.
Yeah.
Then the Broncos, they lost Aqib Talib,
Yep.
who is, still one of the best defensive backs in the league. And they upgraded their quarterback, I guess, from who the fuck did they have last year? It wasn't Osweiler, was it? Oh, it was Simeon, Trevor Simeon.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
they
but
still
that's
had a
another
decent
team. That's
wide
a
receiver
team
core.
that just needs a like a pedestrian quarterback. If you got a good defense, you're fine.
Yeah.
I think that's the build I would have nowadays in the NFL.
Above
It's just
average defense.
a tough defense,
Yeah.
and like a quarterback that can run your offense and be protective with the ball.
Like if you had Tyrod Taylor on the Broncos,
Yeah.
that's a good team.
Yeah.
If you had Alex Smith on the Broncos, actually, I think Alex Smith is probably better than that. I personally think he is. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he is really good.
Yeah.
Well, they're finally getting their money's worth. People are finally getting their money's worth for Alex Smith because that was the guy San Fran drafted over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they drafted him number 1 overall.
Yeah. And a lot of people thought Aaron was going to the 49ers.
Because he is from California.
Yeah, he went to school at Cal.
Yeah, and then he gets drafted by Green Bay. I've seen that video. You've definitely seen
And he
it.
dropped a lot.
He dropped to like 25th or something?
Way, way down.
And then he was the backup. He didn't even play for 2 years or something like that.
No.
3 years.
There was a whole thing.
Brett Favre.
for those who don't know, Favre was still the quarterback when Rodgers was drafted.
And he was still really good.
Yeah. And this was like a situation where Rodgers wanted to play, obviously. And I think Brett knew that like this kid was the future. So he was a little sour about things.
Yeah.
And when Brett Favre retired, they put Aaron Rodgers in, and the kid was playing off the fucking charts. And then Brett Favre goes, you know what? I don't want to be retired anymore. I'm coming back. Comes back to the Packers, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna stick with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And so Brett Favre goes to the fucking Vikings, division rival. Plays one of his best years he's ever had.
Ever.
I think his career year, maybe.
Yeah.
Was his
Almost
first year with the
basically
Vikings.
if Greg Williams wasn't the defensive coordinator of the Saints and the whole the headhunting thing wasn't going on where they
Yeah.
were purposefully trying to hurt him.
Yeah. Yeah, he had one of his best years ever. It might be statistically his best year.
They beat the fuck out of the Cowboys that year, and the Cowboys were like looking really good. They went 13-3.
Yeah.
They had like 9 or 10 Pro Bowlers, and they bent over the Cowboys and beat them 31-3.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy fuck. But it's the Vikings. They never get to have nice things.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But I mean, eventually it was just, I mean, it was a weird situation between Rodgers and Favre. And I thought like Favre was, I mean, at a certain point, Rodgers learned a lot from Favre, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was directly from him. I think it was just from watching him,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily like being mentored or something
Well,
like
he
that.
did say he learned after the game against Chicago. He said that they're like, why did you want to come back in even though everybody said not to? And he goes, well, when you learn behind Brett Favre, you know that you're here to play games. And if you're able to play, no matter at what level, you have to come out and play.
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly, I mean, nowadays they're probably okay with each other.
Yeah.
But
There
it
was definitely animosity there.
for sure. I mean, that's such a tough situation either way.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for the Packers, that's a tough like spot to be in. To be like, this is our veteran quarterback who's done this for us. Like, I mean, it's Brett Favre. I mean, he's done so much for that team.
He's one of my personal favorite of all time. I know I
Yeah.
said Breeze is my favorite right now, but Brett Favre is up there.
Yeah,
He was just
fun to.
he-
He's fun to
exactly.
watch.
He was
I
so
mean,
fun.
He didn't give two fucks. Like he would just throw the ball as hard as he can and fit it into fucking spots that
Yep.
it had no business in, and he'd make plays. I mean, it was like it was a really good era for the Packers, and I think it brought the attention to him for sure.
Because weren't they really bad in like the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, really bad. I mean, they weren't really. They were only good back fucking
In like the 60s.
yeah, forever ago.
Yeah.
And then it kind of brought their people's attention back to him, and then everybody knows Aaron Rodgers, so
For sure.
we've been lucky with quarterbacks that team has.
You think?
That team's been real lucky with they've had like 4 franchise quarterbacks for like fucking the last like 80 years.
Who would you, if you could either have prime Brett Favre or prime Rodgers? Are you taking prime
Bart
Rodgers?
Starr. Put Bart Starr in the game. Dude, he'd be fine with the new rules. He wouldn't even get hit.
Put him in right now.
Yeah, you could put him in right now. He'd be fine. Everything if you touch him, it'd be roughing the passer. So
I know we're digressing a little bit right now, but that's the thing is I wish, and I said this from the beginning. I really wish that the front office for Dallas didn't pick Dak over Romo.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now looking back, I bet you they regret that shit because Dak. We'll get into it when we get to the Dallas game, but Dak does not look promising anymore. He's very concerning.
It is. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I can't really put my finger on what that is. If it is Dak, or maybe it's just their scheme. Like I can't tell what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But you know that he can do this shit because he's done it before.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think his potential's there. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing.
I think his confidence is gone.
Yeah,
he doesn't look. He looks so. I told my dad this after it happened last year when he got sacked 6 times by Adrian Claiborne. I was like, "That's it. He's gonna get the David Carr treatment." Remember David Carr?
Yeah,
looked
right.
really good for Houston. Got sacked like 85 times in back-to-back seasons. Shell shocked. Matt Schaub, same thing, same team.
Yeah,
got the shit beat
scared.
out of him.
You get a little scared in the pocket.
Oh yeah.
But he's a little mobile too, and I feel like he doesn't use it enough.
No, for sure.
That offensive line isn't that bad, I think, but I think he needs to just be a little bit more. He needs a little bit more pocket presence. He needs more pocket awareness in general. I think he just needs to know when to move in certain places in the pocket. He takes sacks. I mean, he takes sacks like he really shouldn't. He can throw the ball. Mm-hmm. A lot of quarterbacks just want to hold on to the ball instead of getting rid of it.
Speaking of quarterbacks that hold on to the ball too much, fucking Cam Newton bent over the Bengals. I'm assuming. The score was 31-21. I'm assuming he had a good
Cam
game.
Newton's like one of those guys who's like, he's going to hold the ball because he knows that he can do shit with his legs.
And he knows he's not going to get hurt.
And he knows
the dude's made out of medicinal steel.
Yeah, he's huge.
Like,
so, he knows that he can break tackles. He can break a fucking sack and run for 15 yards.
He's another
He only threw for 150.
Really? But he had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Cam Newton's one of those guys. I fucking love watching Cam Newton play, man. A lot of people hate him because he comes off as he's a really nice guy, but in interviews he's kind of a fucking bonehead. He's kind of stupid. Yeah. But I really love Cam Newton, man. Don't tell my dad. My dad fucking hates him.
Yeah, I like Cam. He's.
I'm actually really surprised Carolina won this game because Cincinnati, like Andy Dalton and that whole offense.
God, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, that's the problem. Andy Dalton's another guy. I mean, he's still 350 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but it's ball security. Like
that's his
gives
problem.
the other team points. I mean, Carolina probably scored off turnovers at least 3 times.
Yeah, and even if that's 9 points, say they got a field goal off of each interception.
Yeah,
that's a 12-point swing.
Exactly.
That's the game. You know.
Right.
Tyler Boyd. Who the fuck is Tyler Boyd? 130 yards, 1 touchdown. AJ Green only 58 yards. That's fine. AJ Green's a guy nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah. Tyler Eifert doesn't drop balls. It seems like he's a solid fucking receiver.
He's really good. He's just he's like Gronk. If Gronk, he's actually like
he's a pretty big dude. Like
He's like a less durable Gronk.
Right,
really.
Yeah. He's like Gronk light.
Yeah. Diet Gronk. That's the problem with tight ends too, is they're so big that they, most guys that are covering them, if they get in open field, you have to take out their legs.
Right, yeah.
But look at that though. Christian McCaffrey, he's finally coming into his own this year. A lot of people, I was low on him last year, I'll admit it, but he's looking really good this year too. Mm-hmm. He's really looking the way he did back in college, running routes like a receiver, dodging tackles, breaking tackles, going long. He's looking really good. I think, honestly, the NFC is going to be a fucking slugfest.
Yeah,
the NFC is scary this year because you have
the NFC North looks weak right now. It's weird. I don't know why, but the NFC North, there's only one team with 2 wins, and it's Chicago.
Yeah, and they should have 3.
Right.
If they, didn't choke week 1 or whatever they played Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay should be 2-1. Either Green Bay or Minnesota shouldn't have lost to Buffalo.
I feel like Green Bay's been shooting themselves in the foot. They should be better than where they're at right now, for sure. But they've also been getting those fucked up penalties, and that happens to a lot of teams right now. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I really think
there's too much affecting games right now is the problem.
Too many flags. I hate that whenever something awesome happens, you have to
there's
watch
a flag.
out for a flag. Yeah.
There's always a flag. Anytime there's a fucking a pass play that's over 20 yards,
there's a flag.
There's a fucking hold.
Whenever there's a punt return or a kick return touchdown,
there's always it seems like every punt return or kick return is a fucking illegal block in the back.
Yep.
Or a fucking hold. It's crazy. But the thing is, like, this shit happens on every play. Like, there's always a hold on every play. If you watch every snap in the NFL, you'll be able to pick somebody out on that offensive line that's technically holding.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what you do. That's what offensive linemen do. You hold them back.
There was a tackle for the Cowboys way back when. He was pretty decent too. His name was Flozell Adams.
Yeah, I remember him.
And they were interviewing him about rules and stuff. I think it was when they were interviewing him about Dallas drafting their new offensive line, the new Great Wall.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking him questions, and he was like, "I held on every play."
Yeah.
Joe Thomas even said the same thing. He
That's
held
your
on
job.
every play. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Technically. And if you have a mobile quarterback, which a lot of them are now, you're blocking, and you don't know that your quarterback's moving to your side, so you're still blocking the guy like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your quarterback goes over here onto the side of you, now technically you're holding because you don't know your quarterback's over there.
Yeah.
Like, that's just...
Yeah, it's really fickle, man.
It's kind of crazy.
Speaking of fickle, what the fuck's going on with Houston? Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I don't know what happened to him. It's another guy that, like, has a good year, like Dak, and then kind of, like, lost something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you can't really quantify.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the guys around him. That could be it.
I know their O-line isn't that good. He has DeAndre Hopkins, who probably is probably the second or third best receiver in the league. I think you can rotate between Green, Hopkins, and Julio.
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown and Odell. Those are the 5. You could put any of them in any order in the top 5, and you're right.
Right. He
didn't have a bad game.
So yeah,
he didn't really have a bad game. I really don't think you want him throwing that much though.
No, but I
40.
think that interception probably hurt him.
Oh, for sure.
And like we said, Eli's fucking.
Eli, is that a perfect game? 25 of 29.
I mean, pretty much.
300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, what the fuck?
Right. I mean, that's an Eli game though.
That is an Eli game. Next week he's gonna go 5 of 39 for 20 yards.
Yeah.
And
4 interceptions.
And
then he's gonna be on the bench at the end of the game.
Yeah. They're gonna break his streak again.
Yeah. That's what happens though. That's Eli.
Yeah,
I can't imagine being a Giants fan.
I think the Giants are the worst team in the NFC East right now, for sure. They really are. I mean, they lost to the Cowboys, so they're at least worse than the Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys are solidly
they're
solidly third. You know, I don't have any confidence. Really, both of those teams. I wasn't expecting the Giants to do that well. No. I really think they should have taken a quarterback instead of Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm. Especially
if you take a guy like Sam Darnold or Josh Allen and have him learn behind Eli. Because as much as people shit on Eli, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
He's already a lock for that, I would say.
Yeah, he's a decent quarterback to learn from.
Well, he's a Manning, so I feel like he's a shoe-in already.
And then with Houston, you know, it's nice that J.J. Watt's back, but J.J. Watt's back is not back.
No.
You know, he is not. He's still really good. He's never going to be Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt, ever again, unfortunately.
No, that dude was a savage when he could play.
I'm gonna talk to my future kids about him for sure. Like, the most ridiculous player I've ever seen on defense. Probably him and Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is just out of this world.
He reminds me of, like,
DeMarcus Ware.
Clay Matthews 3 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when Clay was actually high motor and he would
like
actually
6 years
get,
ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe 6 years. Well, no, maybe like a year after the Super Bowl or so.
Yeah.
Even the Super
Clay
Bowl
Matthews
year,
was-
the Super Bowl year, he was a fucking savage.
Clay Matthews was fucking ridiculous. And I loved all these people, especially you.
But now it's like he can't hit the quarterback. So
He's
how's he
not
going to
allowed
get
to
a hit?
do
His stats don't matter now.
Yeah. Yeah, Clay Matthews used to be so good. And when I see
I think
JJ
now he's
Watt,
just a hold the gap kind of guy. Like
he's more like a
he's less aggressive.
He'd be better served as like a weak side, like run stuffing.
They had him as a middle linebacker for a year or two, or maybe just a season. And I think he is better on the outside.
Yeah.
He's fast.
Oh yeah.
So
he's
that's
still
why
he's still super athletic.
Right. That's why they like him on the outside. They want him to be able to pursue outside runs and things like that to that strong side. I think he's a solid guy for that, but he's not the guy he was.
No.
Like as far as pass rushing goes. He still can push guys back, but he's not like gonna shed
He's
blocks
not like
immediately.
he's not like
fucking,
a 10 or 11 sack guy a year.
Right.
Sack a year guy.
He gets to the quarterback, obviously.
Oh, yeah, he's been flagged enough for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I see JJ Watt, I think of a combination of like prime DeMarcus, I mean just from guys that I watch. I think of prime DeMarcus Ware mixed with Terrell Suggs or James Harrison. Like he's got that speed and quickness like DeMarcus Ware did, and he's just such he's such a monster. Like,
I love how my phone's attached to the screen and I get a text that says we're ordering a sheet pizza. Jake's like, yup.
Bust out the malt liquor, ma.
Oh shit.
But
yeah, JJ Watt's just a scary guy.
Wait, she just said if no one answers, then I will order. Wait, you got to read what that says now. Oh, what toppings do you want?
What toppings do you want?
I don't know. You're gonna ask me. She's calling you now.
I don't know. Fucking A. Let's go with
pineapple mushroom barbecue sauce.
I always go with, I would say just sometimes you gotta stick with the classic cheese and garlic. You know what I mean? I love garlic pizza.
You do. It's fucking weird. You like a plain garlic pizza. It's really weird, man.
I don't know. Fuck it. You know what? We'll just let it come to us.
Just be like, let it ride. Just tell her it's up to you.
All right.
You're not even going to answer?
No, we'll figure it out later.
You fucking figured it.
Yeah, but JJ Watt's just a scary looking dude in general.
Yeah, and I still think he's a top 10 pass rusher in the league right now, but he's one of those guys here, like Bo Jackson. His body just quit on him, you know?
Yeah, I feel like he's so big, he's got a lot to carry around, too. So
yeah, the dude's 6'6", like 290 or some shit. Man,
it's
all he does is bench.
It's not great on your body.
Kick trees to death. Like the dude, he probably sacks. He
probably
sacks California redwoods.
Yeah,
and brings them down.
That's one way you could train, I guess.
Yeah. So Texans Giants shit show game, shit show teams. Fuck them both.
Texans Jags.
Titans Jags, but yeah.
Titans Jags.
That's the Jaguars for you, man.
This is a high scoring affair here.
Titans 9, Jaguars 6. That's the Jaguars, man.
Yeah.
They were my number one team before the season started.
Yep.
They're still my pick to win the Super Bowl this year.
I feel like they're just explosive, but I feel like it's weird that they only score 6 points here.
I feel like the Titans defense is way better than we give them credit for, and they're also divisional rivals.
Yeah, they know each other for sure.
And but that 6 points when you have You have superstar quarterback
Yeah,
Blake Bortles.
That's just underperforming.
And you got the greatest backup in the league with TJ. I'm surprised they scored 6.
That's true. Yeah.
You have Blake Bortles throwing to Keelan Cole and Marquise Lee, but Marquise Lee is on one crutch already, just in case.
I like Blake Bortles. It's another.
I
guy
do too. He's a cool dude. I remember that he did an interview and they were talking to him. They're like, "What would you do right now if you weren't in the NFL?" And he goes, "I don't know, probably doing construction and smoking menthols."
I mean, he's probably right.
He's probably doing that right now. He's he's probably working on the roads in Oswego.
Yeah, he does that in his off time.
Yeah. Next game, rest in peace, Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers cap space, because he tore his ACL and partially tore his MCL.
Yeah.
On a non-contact play. So much for the safety rules.
Right. You know, that's funny. I've actually seen guys getting hurt trying to avoid those rules.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with the next game up. The Dolphins player, William Hayes. We'll talk about that next. For sure. Because that's. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly the opposite of what they wanted.
Yeah. So the Chiefs win 38-27. Patrick Mahomes breaks the record for most touchdowns in the first 3 games of the season, initially set by Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs' offense keeps on rolling, and their defense is actually playing a lot better than everybody expected.
My question is, are they going to keep that pace? And that's what's always hard. Like I said, I think with week 3, you look at it and you go like, okay, well, this team looks good, but how are they going to look in 4 weeks? How are they going to look in 5 weeks?
I feel like out of all the teams that are 3-0 right now, which is, let me look. Hang on, I got a text. Your mom was asking me what I want on the pizza. Not really, but that'd be crazy. So we got the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Rams are all 3-0.
3-0? Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
so the Rams are the best team in the league, bar none. They just look way better than everybody else they played so far, but we're not talking about the Rams right now.
Right.
So Chiefs, Niners,
I think the big story here is just Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's it, really. The Chiefs offense, I think, is going to keep rolling. I mean, they were great last year. Yeah. The problem I'm thinking of is their defense going to suck as bad as they're supposed to eventually. That really sucks for Jimmy G, though.
Yep. That's more or less what the situation was for this game.
Wasn't he? He was trying to do a juke. He was trying to juke a defender out and fell or something. I know he was trying to juke a defender. Duke a defender and tore his ACL. Yeah. And Justin Houston said the same thing. Justin Houston, linebacker for the Chiefs, one of the other great pass rushers in the league, said, if you're a quarterback, why are you trying to do running back moves? Just go out of bounds. You can't risk it.
Right.
You know, and he's got a point, really, as insensitive as that sounds. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, most quarterbacks, you just got to slide. You just got to slide or fucking get out of bounds. You can't take the chance, especially when, like, you're the fucking centerpiece of the fucking offense.
Especially when you are the reason why San Francisco is in a prime time slot for the next 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, exactly. San Francisco's, it's so strange that with Kaepernick, they were a decent team.
Yep. Imagine if they re-sign him. They won't, but imagine if they did. That'd be hilarious.
San Fran needs to sign a deal with Nike, and then they can get him back. This is fucking Nike loves him. But man, I tell you though, if they had Kaepernick back, I think they're fucking in good shape. At least they're in better shape than they are.
Problem with Kaepernick is he hasn't played in 2 years. Yeah. But he's probably better, unless you can get Jay Cutler to come out of retirement, but he's having a good time being on fucking E! Entertainment Network.
Right. Yeah.
He's on his wife's fucking reality TV show.
Well, Kaepernick's another guy that moves a lot. Yeah. He's a guy that fucking, he'll get out of the pocket.
They would at least beat Green Bay this year.
Yeah, they would. Because Green Bay doesn't know how to stop a nosebleed when they're playing against Colin Kaepernick. They can't fucking hold their fucking jock. It's funny because they can't protect against quarterbacks that run, like, at all. So even Cam Newton gives him trouble.
Oh yeah. Like that's and then Dak and Dak doesn't really run that
Yeah,
often. He's
yeah.
more of a scrambler. He's more of like a Steve Young or a
Well, he's like a last resort runner,
Yeah,
basically. But yeah, that's that. That's more or less that's the story there. Dolphins, Raiders. The Raiders, I feel bad for the Raiders.
Dude, they traded away the MVP of the year.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
literally, at least, they traded away the defensive player of the year.
I think John Gruden wants. It's strange the way he's rebuilding the teams, but he's rebuilding it with veterans.
Yeah, I think he's trying to change the culture.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he doesn't want anybody on the team that was there before he got there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really stupid. It's really stupid. He doesn't know how to run a
feel like
team
what
anymore.
he's doing is taking all of the players that he did the Gruden grinder thing with and putting them on the same team. Because I remember him talking high about Jordy Nelson, talking about Carr. Like, a lot of the players that are on his team, he was just high on.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to put them all on the same team and get them to work chemistry-wise. I think it might... eventually, I think they might click.
Yeah,
I think so.
Because there was Jordy Nelson went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good game.
Yeah, he did.
Derek Carr looked good. Amari Cooper looked like Amari Cooper.
Yep.
Marshawn Lynch looked good.
I mean, it's you look at that roster, it's like they have to click. There's no way that they don't. But now you're behind 3 games. So you're in a rough spot. But I think with John Gruden, like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy's a fucking idiot. I think he can figure something out.
And they're not going to get rid of him after this year. They're paying him $10 million a year.
Yeah, no, he'll stick around, and I think the team might click. And if they don't, then maybe it's my fault. But
It's somebody's fault for sure.
yeah, I think they might. I mean, I can't imagine that team doesn't fucking, at least get up to 500.
Yeah.
You got to get up to 500.
They got to. I think they'll be at least 7-9 or 8-8. The
Right.
problem is their division.
Yeah,
Their division
that is the problem.
is the hardest in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Besides probably the NFC South.
Yeah, but the Dolphins look really good. So, and I think that's a team most people didn't see coming.
Yeah, Tannehill looks really good.
This is their second 3-0 start since 2002,
and it's Tannehill's first season in 2 years, and he is looking really good, honestly.
He's another dude that just he kind of started off as like a consistent guy and just average, starting to break out a little bit.
Yeah, it's just weird. I feel like the only people, like, this is definitely the Miami Dolphins fans a fucking a toe-to-toe moment.
Yeah.
Because he's looking really good. The whole team is looking really good. Adam Gase, who was a great coordinator for Chicago for the offense, he made Jay Cutler look pretty, I think he was only on Chicago for 2 years, and he made Jay Cutler look really good.
Yep.
And now he's got his guys. The defense is really underrated too. They got Rashad Jones, they got Kiko Alonso, Robert Quinn, Cameron Wake.
Mm-hmm.
Their entire defense is above average guys. And I can't believe Frank Gore is still playing. He only had 12 yards, but still.
Yeah.
They only had 41 rushing yards on the whole. They only rushed it 14 times.
Yeah. I mean, Tannehill, it's like 289 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's what you want. Like, that's solid.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a fucking mind-blowing game. I mean, it's crazy. Oakland hasn't been in games that, like, they've lost by a lot, though. Like,
Yeah.
Oakland's been in the game.
I was reading today that Oakland has not trailed in the first 3 quarters at all this season.
Right.
They've only trailed in the fourth quarter, and it's always in, like, the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So they just need to stop. Derek Carr, 345, 1 and 2. All right.
He's turning it over. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's the problem. Marshawn Lynch had 64 yards. Doug Martin had 43. I mean, this is like, and Jordy Nelson, look at this, 173 and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's I mean, maybe that's my answer right there. Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is, if him and Carr can fucking start connecting, I don't think that's a fucking tough combo to be.
Yeah.
Because Jordy gets open.
And if fucking Amari Cooper could stop dropping every other ball that's thrown his way.
And like I said on the last show there, Jordy doesn't drop balls. So I don't remember the last time I saw Jordy Nelson drop a pass.
Yeah.
He's just consistent. And I think Carr can, I think that's going to be a good, like I said, I think that team's going to click. I just do.
I agree. I do think,
I mean, if you're building, that looks like a team that I built in Madden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that looks like a team I built in
above
Madden
average
franchise.
quarterback, solid wide receivers, solid running backs, average offensive line,
decent defense.
I
mean, I don't know.
All veterans on cheap deals.
Yeah. That's what it is. I signed a bunch of free agent wide receivers and got a bunch of
I know the Madden roster I have. Every time I start a franchise, I immediately sign Des Bryant, Eric Reed, and he got signed by somebody. I don't know who he got signed by, but Jonathan Hankins, the nose tackle.
Yeah.
But he's always a beast in Madden, even though like he's decent against the run in real life, but that's all he really is. He's a run stuffer, but in Madden for some reason he gets like 8 sacks a year. Like
classic Madden. So the Bills fucking slaughtered the Vikings. What was that all
game
about?
was hilarious.
I mean, I just don't even know how this happens. I mean, and Josh Allen, like, what the fuck? That fucking hurdle?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that hurdle was amazing. It was pretty great.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to hurdle us next week because I'm pretty sure we're playing Buffalo.
Oh boy. He actually topped out at like 21 miles an hour on one of his rushes.
Really?
Which is like the second fastest in the league or something.
Yeah. That's, I don't know, maybe that team pulls together. Who knows?
They made it to the playoffs last year,
and
LaShawn McCoy didn't play Sunday.
Yeah.
And they beat the Vikings by fucking 21 points. Like, what? Yeah. I think the Bills, that's the problem is that like you said, we've said it like 8 times now. Week 3, you can't tell.
No,
I
you
think
really can't.
By week 8, if the Dolphins aren't doing as well, I think the Bills take them over. I think the Bills are pretty good. I think they're another team that
they got potential to break out, you know.
Yeah, and they're all guys that have been playing together for so long. They seem more like sort of like, remember how the Spurs were? The Spurs were all chemistry guys.
Yeah.
The Bills are a lot of chemistry guys. You know, they're obviously not going to win 5 titles in fucking 20 years or whatever, but I feel like they'll be all right. If they don't make the playoffs, they'll at least be all right, you know?
Right. Yeah, there'll be I think maybe next year's their year.
Yeah, especially Josh Allen gets another year or 2.
Right.
Under
It's
his
like
belt.
they need to get a little bit of chemistry going and they'll be fine. I don't know that they do it this year though.
No.
Who knows? Who fucking knows? I mean, they're playing the Vikings. I mean, they're a solid
in Minnesota.
Team. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine being there and being like, oh, I'm going to watch the Bills-Vikings game.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend $200 for a ticket. It's going to be a fucking slaughter.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch them slaughter the Bills. That's because that's what usually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles-Colts 2016.
I don't have anything to say about this game.
Yeah, I don't think I even really paid much attention to this game. I think it was on Red Zone, and they barely really showed anything from it because it wasn't like.
I know it was neck and neck, and Carson Wentz looked like rookie Carson Wentz, but that's what you expect after coming off a torn ACL.
Right? Yeah. That's right. Wentz. I think that was really the headline for this.
Yeah, that's really all. 40 minutes. Time
the Colts
possession.
are one of the teams that just don't interest me.
No, they really don't.
I just don't. I feel interested in that and watching that team, and same with the Eagles, really, for some reason.
The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, but I couldn't give less of a fuck, even though they're in my division.
I know. I just, for some reason, I don't care about.
It's like I'm more interested in the Redskins than the Eagles.
Right. Yeah.
So Eagles. I don't even know if they look. They're probably the best team in the division. But
if you go through all these games, and probably the least interesting to me for some reason is the Colts and the Eagles.
Yeah. And it's really, I guess it's cool that Frank Reich, who was the coach of the Colts now. He used to be a coach for the Eagles.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck is back, and it's the same old fucking story. He's carrying the Colts.
Yeah.
Because for some
They
reason...
don't want to build around him for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's what their intention is, but they don't do it, so...
Yeah, so, you know...
They're going to waste a couple years of him for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that maybe needs to move to a different team.
He needs to go to Denver, just like the last great Colts quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. Here's your game. I didn't watch this at all.
This was not great. Adrian Peterson went off for sure.
Yeah.
In the first half, he looked like it was 6 years ago. He was fast. He was hitting the hole hard. Like, he would see openings and just be through it immediately. He'd be down the fucking field. Dude, he is still so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable, really, how good a shape he's still in. And we're a team that knows, like, the Packers know Adrian Peterson. They
probably better than everybody else.
Yeah, how many years have they played him? And they still can't stop him. Doesn't matter what team he's playing for. But the Packers dropped a lot of balls. They had a lot of opportunities. There was like a fourth down where Rodgers hit Cobb over the middle, and he dropped it on a 4th and like 2, I think, 4th and maybe like 1.5 or whatever. Rodgers is good. Like, as far as turnovers, doesn't turn the ball over usually.
Yeah.
But the defense doesn't. They either have a good game or they just completely blow it. And I think they miss a lot of tackles. They've always missed a lot of tackles. But I think the big story was, and it is going to continue to be as long as it keeps happening, is the hits, quarterback hits. And I mean, I think we can talk about that after we're done.
Yeah, well, definitely.
We're gonna dive into that a little bit.
That'll be the post pizza part.
Right. Aaron Jones, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the deal is with Mike McCarthy, but I'm getting sick of him. Seriously. This Aaron Jones ran 6 attempts and he looked really good. But hey, let's not run him anymore. Let's just keep throwing the ball. It's not working, but let's not run Aaron Jones. It's been so long since they've had a solid running back. I think if Aaron Jones gets more touches, he is a dude that like at least does what they need him to do, which is make the other team think about the run.
They need like an Isaiah Crowell kind of guy.
They need somebody who just pounds it up the fucking middle, or you just need the defense to think about the fucking run once in a while.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing what's essentially a prevent defense on every fucking play, it's easier to defend.
You know, I understand they were down most of the game, but Rodgers still shouldn't be throwing 44 times a game.
No.
Especially, you know,
with a knee issue.
Yeah. Yeah, he shouldn't be running it either.
No, he shouldn't. He did, man. He was toughing it out.
Oh, how does Geronimo Allison look? He's a guy that I was really excited to see. I saw he only had 2 catches.
No, he's pretty solid though. He hasn't dropped anything really recently, so I think Rodgers looks at him, but he knows he has guys that are consistent, like fucking Adams. Mm-hmm. Devontae Adams leads the league in touchdowns, and he has for a long time. Like, this guy's an underrated dude. Like, I feel like Devontae Adams is one of the top receivers right now, but people don't talk about him because his name isn't there.
And he's also Green Bay's, he's also Rodgers' receiver. I feel
Right.
like they all get that treatment.
Yeah. And you got Jimmy Graham, who, you know, I feel like he's going to be consistent. At least he catches the ball. And we just had a couple guys, like I said, we just had guys that just dropped the ball. Like Lance Kendricks fucking missed a huge fucking 3rd down the sideline, just dropped it, went right through his hands. Just miscues basically, just not playing the way they should. But I felt like they definitely could have won that game. They just shot themselves in the foot, and you know, penalties and shit like that happens. Washington, I don't know that Washington looks that great. I think Adrian Peterson looks great is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think he was really just firing that offense up because he had some breakthrough runs. And I mean, it seemed like he didn't even get touched on a couple of them. But Frustrating game to watch for me, at least. Yeah, I guess that's it for me.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that one either. I was bleaching my bathroom Sunday, so I missed most of the 1:00 games.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Peterson had 2 touchdowns in the first half, so yeah, he was running all over him.
Rams
look real good. I like the Rams a lot.
That one's simple. The Rams just look way too good.
Yeah, exactly. The Rams.
If you have a defensive line with Michael Brockers, Aaron Donald, and Ndamukong Suh, that's all we have to talk about, really.
Right.
They completely stifled the Chargers' offense, made Phillip Rivers look like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
They shut down the run game,
Yeah. I think it's just LA. It's weird. As soon as they moved, they just, all of a sudden, they're good.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Maybe they like the Coliseum.
They have a direct main line to Alex Jones and all of the
yeah, that's true.
Alpha Brain, Alpha Boost supplements. Bears Cardinals. The Cardinals look like the worst team I've seen since the Browns.
Cardinals are embarrassing. Yeah,
they look so bad.
I really wanted them to win this game, though. It was a close game. I was watching it right until the last minute because I didn't want the Bears to win. Obviously, it gives them the divisional lead.
Yeah,
but I mean, at least Arizona was in the game against Chicago. But Chicago's
their defense is just way too
good. I think
good.
Yeah. I think them and the Packers are two at the top of that division for sure. Now the Lions have been good recently, but I don't know. I think Chicago and Green Bay are the ones to watch.
Yeah, really, Minnesota is just too inconsistent.
Minnesota isn't. It's weird because they play really well and then they drop the ball in big games or something, or games they overlook. I feel like they overlook a lot of games.
They definitely
Vikings
overlooked Buffalo.
Have done that for some reason. They seem to lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. Seahawks, Cowboys, Seattle. I mean, Seattle's not even a great team right now. It seems like
Dallas's defense is probably the best defense I've seen them have since they had DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer.
Yeah,
Brady James, Sean Lee. Roy Williams, way back. Like I'm talking like 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't think Sean Lee was on the team, but
I just don't know that the Cowboys offense just couldn't get rolling.
It's
there was
so
nothing.
It's bad. It is.
They couldn't get a spark started or anything.
Nobody is scared of Dak Prescott.
Right.
They're not scared of him. They're not scared of the receivers.
Yeah.
And we don't have Travis Frederick, who is the best center in the league. And so Zeke, he can't run up the middle as much. Right. Connor Williams, that's the problem too, is that you can have Tyron Smith, top 3 tackle. Lael Collins, probably a top 10 tackle. Zach Martin's the best guard in the league. Connor Williams is really good. He's on his way to becoming a really good left guard. Mm-hmm. But you miss the one puzzle piece, you're done.
Yeah.
Zeke had a great game, 130 yards.
Yeah.
16 attempts. He had a really bad penalty where he caught a screen pass for a touchdown, but he stepped out of bounds before he got the ball.
I remember seeing both of Prescott's interceptions, and they were just balls he shouldn't have thrown. And it's that simple, really. It really is that simple.
And I'm trying to think.
19 for 34 is just not a good fucking stat line.
Not even 19 for 34. 19 for 34, but only 168 yards.
He's not... I don't think he's seeing the field. He's just not seeing the field.
No. He needs glasses.
He does.
And this is the thing that kills me too. Look down for a second. You should not be throwing the ball to Jeff Swain 7 times a game.
That's what I mean.
You should not be throwing the ball. Cole Beasley's all right.
I like Alan Hearns.
Alan Hearns is really good. Michael Gallup is going to be pretty decent. He isn't that quick, and he's pretty small.
Yeah.
But his route running is really good, and as soon as he gets bulkier...
But why is Tavon Austin so low? I feel like this is a good receiver core, realistically.
It really is.
I feel like he's got guys to throw to. They're going to be open.
Yeah.
And Alan Hearns has always been consistent,
Yeah. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm really excited that Bryce Butler is coming back. He's the only receiver that Dak was ever confident in.
Oh yeah, and Zeke had a fumble too. That was right.
Yeah.
They just turned the ball over too much. There was
They
not
do.
enough. There wasn't enough. I don't know. They just weren't protective with it.
My biggest takeaway from this game is that Leighton Vander Esch is the real deal at linebacker.
Yeah.
Jalen Smith is the real deal at linebacker. Taco Charlton is the real deal at defensive end. But we finally took Byron Jones off of being a free safety, made him a corner, which is what he played in college. Unreal. It's like night and day. And I don't think you know this, but the Dallas Cowboys defensive backs coach was the same defensive backs coach for the Legion of Boom.
Oh, really?
And the whole defense is completely different now. And just like last year, the front seven was good, and this year the back four are great. But it's just the offense, you know.
Yeah.
Even if we had,
That's really what it is, and it's ball protection. They don't do that. I think if they can clean that up, they'll be fine.
Luckily, Dallas plays Detroit next week and then Houston the week after.
Right.
So they could probably be 3-2. And the NFC East is literally the biggest fucking, that's just magic 8-ball type shit. Every year, I don't think anybody wins the NFC East more than 1 year in a row.
Yeah.
Most of them go worst to first.
Right, yeah.
So
Exactly.
don't be surprised if the Giants win the NFC East this year and go fucking 13-3, you know?
I think I would be, but
True.
I'd still be surprised.
Biggest takeaway is that Dallas should not be, they have to have the confidence.
They got to get, yeah. I think if they win a game or two, I think if they get a couple wins, string them together, they'll be fine. Then they can, like you said, it's confidence, and
The
I
thing
think
is
they're not
that
protecting the ball.
They're definitely, they remind me of New England, where they're definitely a second half of the season team. Like last year, they were awful without Zeke, obviously.
This is a perfect example of how turnovers matter.
Yeah. Earl Thomas, 2 picks.
Mm-hmm. Look, don't throw to him.
Yeah,
don't throw to him.
If only we would have traded. I personally would.
You got other receivers. Don't throw to the guy that he's fucking covering.
Yeah. I personally would have traded a second and a fourth for Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Or a second and a fifth, or whatever, a second and a third, whatever they wanted for Earl Thomas.
Exactly.
So, oh well. On to the
So
next
the
game.
Lions beat the Patriots. They finally had a fucking running game for once. That was interesting.
The biggest thing with this one, the Patriots
Patriots.
defense looks really bad.
Yeah. Well, their offense doesn't look good either.
No.
The fuck were they doing? The Patriots have started slow last couple of years, I think. And I think they're going to catch on. I think they're just going to be the regular fucking Patriots.
They also don't have Julian Edelman.
But yeah, for sure.
That's the problem.
Dude, I just can't stand Bill Belichick, dude. That guy, he walked out at the beginning of the fucking game. He walked out before it started. Walks out with like his game face on and shit. There's a couple of kids in the crowd reaching out to get a high five from him. He walks about an inch from him and just jogs right past him straight faced. It's like you can't be bothered to lift your hand 3 inches and just touch the kid's fucking hand. Like, at least, come on, dude. Like, Jesus Christ.
You know what's funny? You ever see him?
I get game face and shit, but come on, dude.
He
really.
did this. They had an NFL thing. I don't remember if it was on ESPN or NFL Network. He's best friends with Jimmy Johnson, the guy that used to be the coach of Dallas in the 90s. Mm-hmm. They're best friends. They did a 30-minute.
He seems like he has no personality.
Dude,
whatsoever.
he is the coolest guy ever.
Really?
He really is. He's fucking hilarious. I think it might be because he's around Jimmy Johnson too. Because
he
Jimmy
just seems
Johnson
like
is
such
too
a
cool.
piece of shit, like all the time for some reason.
It's because he fucking grew up with Bill Parcells.
Right? Yeah.
Bill Parcells was his mentor. Dude,
Yeah,
Bill Parcells could turn Robin Williams into fucking Hitler if he wanted to. Put that on a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, the Lions, I think their running game at least looked good, and that scares me a little bit.
Look at that. Tom Brady might be the worst game of the past 5 years for
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
Sonny Michel, he only had 50 yards, but he looks pretty good.
Stafford is usually pretty good. I mean,
he's a guy that nobody talks about.
Exactly. Yeah, he's in that Joe Flacco sort of thing.
I think he's better than Flacco.
He is, but he's in that same tier where it's like, he plays a real good game and then he fucks up hard.
I think he's the closest thing to Brett Favre that we have in the league right now.
Yeah. And then Kerryon Johnson with the fucking birdhouse, 101 yards.
He's not bad.
It's weird because you got LeGarrette Blount and you don't run him instead. But I guess if
I
you
think
got a guy
Blunt
who's
is more
fucking,
of a short yardage, change of pace guy, maybe.
Yeah. For sure.
Golden Tate, I knew he'd be number one. Marvin, their fucking receiving core is really good too. Kevin Galladay is great. Luke Wilson's a good tight end. But Golden Tate, man, he's gonna be, he's in that tier of receivers with like, I'm trying to think. I can't think of it now. He's in that same tier. He's in like the
other guys.
The B tier. Yeah. You could find a better wide receiver number one than Golden Tate, but if he's your number one receiver, you're not doing that bad.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I think he's better than any guy in the Cowboys. I think he'd probably be better than any other receiver in the NFC East besides Odell Beckham and Alshon Jeffrey. Because he's like, he has the record for a receiver for most broken tackles. I don't know if you knew that or not. The dude does not he breaks a tackle almost every catch he gets. He does not go down. And he's not that big of a guy either.
Right.
He's just fucking, he's swifty,
He's
dude.
Slippery as fuck. He's got fucking baby oil.
Like you said, I think the Patriots are going to turn it around, but I don't think the Lions, I think the Lions are the worst team in the NFC North.
I don't think this kid's going to rush for 100 yards every game. So.
No, that either. And then, finally,
this is to Steelers Bucks.
Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
And I really do think Fitzpatrick is finally Fitzmagic. He lost and he threw 4 picks, I think, or 3 picks.
Yeah.
But he still threw for over 400 yards.
Dude, he is the fucking man. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I am so happy that he's fucking going for it now. Yeah. He's doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, his receiving.
They were saying how he's basically. I feel like he's basically thrown a pass for every team in the league within the last 6 years.
I gotta pull that up.
They were giving him. They had a stat where it was 5 or 6 teams he's thrown for in 3 seasons or some stupid shit. It was fucking crazy, that stat. I think it was he completed a pass with X amount of teams. But it's a crazy number because he just gets moved around so much.
Yeah, he's played for the Rams, the Bengals, the Bills, the Titans, the Texans, the Jets, and the Bucks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and he's a guy. Right now, I'm really sold on him. Even though they lost and he had really bad protection issues last night.
Yeah,
but I think he's better than Winston. I'd keep him in instead of Winston.
I think so too.
The team is really rallying around Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's like an underdog
the
story.
defense completely shut out Pittsburgh in the second half. But
yeah.
those
I think the 3 interceptions are what killed him. Yeah,
even if he threw one less interception,
but he still threw for 411 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. The running game didn't do much. Peyton Barber is really good.
Yeah.
And he didn't do much, but Mike Evans, man. Mike Evans and O.J. Howard and Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, they got us. I mean, it's
Cameron Brate. That is a solid. Those are Mike Evans as a receiver. Nobody talks about because he plays for Tampa Bay.
Right.
If he played in the NFC East or the AFC East or any of the Western divisions, everybody would be talking about him all the time. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
He's like the second coming of Brandon Marshall. He's just a huge dude that he just brings down everything. Mm-hmm. He reminds me of Dez when he was younger, but I think he's going to last longer because, he seems a lot more focused.
Yeah. I think Roethlisberger had a Ben Roethlisberger game.
Yeah.
This is just about what you'd expect from him.
300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick.
And a pick, because he does always throw a fucking pick, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's a lot of times what he does is he stands in the pocket for too long, and then he tries to get the ball out, and he forces it. Yeah. I think that's what his problem is. And because he's a big fucking guy, and he can break a lot of those tackles.
Yeah, for sure. James Conner is the reason why they are not going to re-sign Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Book it. I am so happy that I picked him up in fantasy. I drafted him in the 8th round, and everybody laughed at me. And he's been coming up big, and he looks really good. And I don't think he barely played last year. But they knew Le'Veon was going to be holding out, and they got him groomed and ready to be the number 1 running back, and he's doing a really good job.
I'll tell you what, that second frame does not help the Buccaneers. You can't allow 24 points in the second.
No. And yeah, that's the problem too. Is their defense really stepped it up? They shut them out in the second half.
Exactly. But it's just now it's like you've dug yourself a hole. So
yeah, and the defense really blew it on the last drive. They let up 3 first downs in like 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Pittsburgh got the ball with 4 minutes left, and I was like, all right, Tampa Bay's got this. And then it was just first down.
Yeah,
game over. You know, not much you can do after that. I think Tampa Bay, they're the biggest wild card in my opinion. Their offense is decent. They're really, really above average. Their whole team is above average.
Yeah, they are.
Pittsburgh, their defense is pretty shitty. But you got Big Ben and
they got like
Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the same. It's the same story with the Steelers, you know.
Yeah.
I think with the Buccaneers, they're like all 86s. Like it's like a team of 86s.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
So they're like a B++.
And the Steelers have like 5 guys that are 95s, and then everybody else is in like the high 70s.
Yeah.
You know,
with like a +1 confidence.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the roundup of all the games.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do is do another part, and we'll talk about
this coming week
a couple of things and do some predictions. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All in all, what game? Who's your player of the week this week? You want to do that next part? We'll look at a couple guys.
Allen.
And who's that?
I would say Allen is.
Josh Allen,
Yeah.
player of the week.
Just because he was a spark for that fucking team, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like he broke out pretty hard. Now, whether he can do that again, that's the question, but I think he showed a lot. I think it's because he came out of nowhere, you know, like people weren't expecting him to play like that.
No, I don't think anybody was.
I think that's the guy.
You know, I'm going to be super cliche, but I really think that
Kerryon Johnson, maybe.
Kerryon Johnson looked really good.
Peterson.
My player of the week is Khalil Mack.
The dude's consistent, man. He doesn't stop, it seems like.
No, he had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dude is basically doing the work of like 3 defensive players all at once.
Right.
And he's already on a defense that was top 5 last year.
Yep.
And did you see that they are, I don't know the exact number, but the Bears are number 1 in sacks, but they're last in blitz percentage. They're literally sending.
Yeah, they don't have to. They're
sending
4 guys.
And getting the most sacks in the league right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so, they just get pressure.
Yeah. So yeah, I was really impressed. We'll talk about predictions coming up. I really think Khalil Mack is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year already, and he could be my pick for MVP.
I mean, it's
way too early to tell predictions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think that it's going to be hard to be that consistent. But I think if he does at least play even half as consistently, he's guaranteed a fucking MVP spot. Definitely. Like I would say,
he already has 2 sacks in each game, a forced fumble.
The thing is, if you're a defensive player, you get overlooked a little bit for that that MVP thing because you just unless you're really making fucking waves, it's hard, and he is. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, he's the deciding factor for me for Chicago because they're a team
that's a defensive team,
and they have a really good running back, and Trubisky is not bad, not great, and that's all they need really. Right. It's just if the defense can stay the way they're playing.
All right.
Fuck the Eagles, dude.
Well, I suppose that's it. So we'll be back in just a second, I guess. Clear Shots is available on any of your favorite podcast platforms. ClearShotsPodcast.com is the best place to find all of our social media links. You can find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at ClearShotsPod. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.